Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about a topic which is very interesting. Every day we like to eat some delicious food. We have our own choices, right? So as such, from where do we get the food we eat, right? We get it from the plant sources as well as the animal sources. Previously, we have dealt with nutrition in plants. Now we are going to deal with nutrition in animals. My first question is, why do we need food? Good. We require food to obtain energy for various activities. Now this food is being obtained from plants and animals. Now as such, depending upon the nutrition, the living organisms are divided into autotrophic and heterotrophic type of nutrition. Now we have learned about autotrophic nutrition when we were dealing with the plants. That means the plants are called as autotrophs because they are capable of preparing their own food. Whereas all the animals which are not capable of preparing the food come under heterotrophic type of nutrition, or we call it them as heterotrophs. Now, currently, we'll deal with nutrition in animals. From a lower organism to a higher organism like human beings, we'll deal the process of digestion, that is, from the intake of food to the removal of the waste material we are going to discuss in this lesson. To begin with, nutrition in animals. What actually is nutrition? Now, animals directly eat plants sometimes, or sometimes they eat plants as well as the animals. So, all the organisms they require the food for their survival and growth. So, requirement of the nutrients, the mode of intake of food, and its utilization in the body are collectively known as nutrition. Requirement of nutrients. As we animals are not similar, we differ from each other. Thus, the mode of intake, that is, there are different modes of taking in the food material and its utilization. How is that? That food being utilized by a body together gives us nutrition, or together is termed as nutrition. For example, you can see over here different organisms take food in different ways. You have seen a butterfly sucking the nectar from the flowers. It uses its proboscis with the help of which it sucks the nectar. You can see the frog. It uses its tongue to take in its food material. You can see the herbivorous animals, right? I remember I think you know what are these herbivores which feed only upon the plant materials. Now these herbivorous animals are grazing the food material, whereas we take in the food material with the help of our hands, inject it into our mouth. To begin with nutrition in lower organisms, we deal first with a unicellular organism called as amoeba. Now, amoeba is a unicellular, that is, a single cell organism, engulfs, takes in tiny particles of food by using the finger like projections called as pseudopodia. Amoeba surrounds as soon as it sees the food material. It extends its false feet called as pseudopodia and then surrounds the food and then makes a food vacuole to engulf the food. It creates a food vacuole and thus is entered into the organism. So this is how amoeba takes in the food material. Next is hydra. We'll move on to the multicellular organism. Primitive ones are the hydra. In this, the hydra, there are numerous tentacles around the mouth of hydra. So hydra uses these tentacles to surround its prey and kill them with its stinging cells. Then the food is pushed inside the body cavity where it is being digested. Now comes nutrition in human beings. It is a little bit complicated because we have a separate digestive system to digest the food material. So, nutrition in human beings involves these 5 stages, that is, ingestion or taking in the food material, followed by digestion, how the food material is being digested, then the absorption of the digested food, and later on the assimilation, and then finally excretion. We'll deal with each one of it in human digestion. Now, when we look into the flow chart of the digestive system, the pathway of the food, how the food passes through the digestive tract. To begin with is the mouth, right? The mouth consists of different types of teeth which helps in chewing the food materials. And when you're chewing the food materials, you can feel that your mouth waters as soon as you see the food material. That watering is nothing but secretion from the salivary glands. So here the mouth begins or initiates the process of digestion. In the mouth, the process of digestion is initiated with the help of the teeth where we are chewing it, and the salivary glands which secrete that sticky fluid, what we call it as saliva, which helps or mixes up in the food material and makes the food a bit soft. And that soft food we call it as bolus. And that bolus passes on to the next part of the digestive system, that we call it as esophagus. Now in esophagus there is no digestion taking place, it is only movement of the food material takes place from mouth into the stomach through esophagus. Now how is the food passing through the esophagus? It is due to peristaltic movement. Peristaltic movement is nothing but wave-like movement. It is a wave-like movement with which the food passes from the mouth through the food pipe, or otherwise called as esophagus, and enters into our stomach. Now in the stomach, the digestion of proteins takes place. Now, in the stomach, when the digestion of proteins takes place, that digestion requires acidic medium. So that's the reason the stomach secretes an acid, what we call it as hydrochloric acid. And that creates the acidic medium in the stomach. The help of the enzymes, certain enzymes, the proteins are digested in the stomach. Later on, from the stomach, little by little, food is passed on into the next part of the digestive system, what we call it as a small intestine, which is the longest part of the digestive system. Inside the small intestine, much of digestion process takes place. Now, into the small intestine, the secretions from the liver and pancreas occur. That is, from the liver, it is the bile juice, and from the pancreas, it is the pancreatic juice, which gets mixed up with the food material coming from the stomach, and as such, the medium becomes alkaline in the small intestine, and thus the process of digestion is completed in small intestine. Then the next part is large intestine. The undigested food material, along with a little bit of water and a bit of digestive food, enters into the large intestine. Then from the large intestine, the undigested food material is being passed on to a structure called as rectum and then eliminated through anus. So this is how, or this is what is the pathway of the food material beginning from the mouth, ingestion. From the mouth, it is being injected, and then from the stomach till the small intestine. It is the process of digestion. Then comes assimilation, absorption. That is, the digested food is being absorbed into the blood with the help of small finger-like projections present in the small intestine called as villi. Then comes assimilation. The blood carries the food material, digested food material, to all the cells in the body where the cells utilize or assimilate the digested food material. Then comes excretion. The undigested food material is being eliminated through the anus. This gives us all these steps which have been included in the pathway of human digestive system. So as such, when we are discussing about the different parts of the digestive system, to begin with is the mouth. So ingestion, as I told you previously, ingestion is nothing but taking in the food. We take in the food through the mouth. In the mouth, you have different types of teeth and the tongue, which helps in ingesting the food material and swallowing the food material. So it consists of tongue, teeth, and salivary glands. Teeth break the food material into the smaller particles. That is what we call it as chewing. In other words, it's also called as mastication. Then the chewed food is mixed with saliva. Saliva is a watery fluid secreted by salivary glands, and it has an enzyme, salivary amylase, which converts, that is, which starts the process of digestion. It converts starch into sugar. Now, as such, we have different types of teeth in our mouth. If at all you have observed, we have different types of teeth in our mouth. To begin with, our teeth helps us to cut, tear, grind the food before we swallow it. So as such, we have 4 different types of teeth in our mouth. First one is the incisors. These are the incisors. These are flat, chisel-shaped teeth. They lie in front. Just open your mouth, you can see your incisors. There are 8 incisors, 4 on the upper jaw. This is the upper jaw. 4 on the upper jaw and 4 on the lower jaw. The incisor teeth helps in the cutting and biting the food items. Then followed by canines. You can see the canines are sharper than the incisors. They are round shaped, sharp and pointed teeth. Canines are well adapted to hold and tear the food material. There are 4 canine teeth found in human beings. That is 2 on the upper jaw and 2 on the lower jaw. Then followed by premolars. There are 2 premolars on each side of each jaw. Premolars helps in crushing and grinding the food. There are total 8 premolar teeth in an adult human being. 2 on this side, 2 on this side. So totally 4 on each jaw you have premolars, which helps in crushing and grinding of the food. Then followed by the molars, the last ones. There are 2 molars on both sides in both jaws. They have almost a flat surface with small projections. These teeth meant for fine grinding of the food. So as such, there are total 12 molar teeth, including a wisdom teeth in an adult. Wisdom teeth you will get after the age, most probably after 16 to 17 years, you get a teeth coming up at the last. That we call it as the wisdom teeth. There are total 12 molar teeth. The 4 molar teeth are also called as wisdom teeth. So usually in between 18 to 21. Now as such, you can see the tooth is covered by the white substance called as enamel. And it is the hardest substance in a human body, harder than the bone. Then the most important is the tongue. Can you imagine yourself or your mouth which can chew the food material or swallow without a tongue? It's not possible. So the tongue is a muscular organ which helps to mixing saliva in the food and also helps to push the food down into the food pipe or esophagus. You have taste receptors found on the tongue. Now, as you know, you have different types of taste: sour, bitter, sweet, salty. All these taste buds are present on the tongue to give the taste of the food. Then followed by the esophagus. Now, as such, esophagus